This is Witchspace News for Friday the 11th of April 2025. I'm Commander Buur. In Elite Dangerous news this week, the Corsair launches with a fanfare of marketing. There's a pre-engineered module up for grabs in this week's community goal. The Shoulder of Orion initiative reaches its halfway point. Colonisation Economics Cook up a storm, and more. If you enjoy our videos, consider subscribing to the channel and remember to ping the little bell to make sure you see all our content and community posts. And if you'd like to help support our channel, links to our Patreon and everything else are in the description below. The Shoulder of Orion pre-Distant Worlds 3 player driven colonisation event that we reported on a few weeks back reached a significant milestone this week when it passed the halfway mark on its quest to put a colonised system down near the cluster of nebulae in the rough vicinity of Barnard's Loop. The Barnard's Loop area is visible in the sky from just about anywhere around the bubble around Sol, but if you're unfamiliar with that area of the galaxy, it places the colonisation effort from Distant Worlds 3 approximately 1500 light years away from Sol. That is a lot of hauling in anyone's book, and it's great to see in-game tools such as multiple cooperating fleet carriers being leveraged in initiatives like this as the lumbering haulage vessels using them as supply depots ply back and forth to their relevant construction targets. The team at Distant Worlds 3 however released some statistics today that do a far better job than I can of illustrating just what is being achieved by everyone involved right now. Thus far the effort's 372 registered truckers, architects and fleet carrier commanders have shifted nearly 250,000 tonnes of commodities to colonise no less than 124 systems. On the event's first day, the average time to complete an outpost was 22 minutes. The quickest build, and this is staggering, was completed in less than 2 minutes. I have absolutely no idea how that was done, but bravo, absolutely bravo. This chuffing game blows my mind. Assuming you haven't been living in the darkness of interstellar space for the last 7 days without access to decent Wi-Fi, it likely can't have escaped your notice that the 5th next generation Supercruise overcharge enabled starship entered the Elite Dangerous Galaxy on Tuesday. Last year saw the medium class Python Mark II combat vessel, Type 8 hauler, Mandalay exploration ship and the small 3-seater multi-role ship, the Cobra Mark IV enter the game. For the first of this year's planned 4 ships, it's the Gutamaya Corsair, another medium class vessel, Gutamaya's first, and another being pitched by FDEV as a multi-role capable. One of the headline features of the medium sized Corsair is the ability to house size 7 thrusters, and this larger engine specification had led many to believe that the ship would be extremely fast and agile alongside its very designed elegance and heavy armaments, which are spread across 3 medium and 3 large hardpoints. The reality of those size 7 thrusters appears to be however that rather than being an overly fast ship, the Corsair utilises a lot of that thrust in sending its stylised beak-like nose absolutely in the direction it's being pointed, offering almost nothing in the way of drift in its handling whatsoever, resulting in some very predictable and definite handling. As we said in our initial review of the ship, which is linked in the description below, the Corsair is no straight line slouch however. With engineering, that 7A thruster will still boost it to a respectable 600 meters a second, but a degree of confusion has percolated in the community as the ship also boosts to just shy of the same speed with an engineered size 6 thruster. That size 6 is also lighter, giving a ship so equipped ever so slightly greater hyperspace jump range. We reached out to Frontier for confirmation around the apparent 600 meters per second hard cap on the ship's speed, and they've reassured that it is currently performing exactly as they'd expected, but they also stressed that they are keeping a tight eye on any feedback around the ship as we move forward. It's still early days of course, and it'll be interesting to see what effects the galaxy's many ship tinkerers find after they've had time to mix components and engineering a bit more. And if you are one such so inclined ship tinkerer, then take note that the Corsair has now been added to the shipbuilding websites Coriolis and ED Shipyard. Alongside the launch of all its new ships this last 12 months or so, Frontier have also been releasing a series of increasingly better video trailers for the ships as they enter ARX powered early access. The launch of the Corsair appears to have taken that pattern to a whole new level however, launching a trailer alongside the new ship that wouldn't be out of place as part of the marketing for a movie. Indeed, Commander Ray Mobula was so inspired that they remixed the Corsair trailer, adding music from Top Gun to great effect. You'll find that video as well as FDEV's original video linked in the description below. Overall, Frontier have been going all in on the marketing alongside the launch of Gutamaya's new poster child. The Corsair is now the first and only ship from the entire, current at least, Elite Dangerous stable to feature its own smart and spanky brochure-like dedicated web page listing features and numbers associated with the vessel. All of those numbers are of course showroom condition and are rapidly altered with any outfitting and of course engineering. Alongside the web page and trailer, Frontier have also been tweeting marketing style posters for the ship, highlighting its loadout features and striking aesthetics. Such is FDEV's apparent confidence in the new ship that they've also released a shed load of paint jobs for the Corsair. In and of itself that's not terribly unusual, but what is striking is that alongside an already wide selection of choices, you'll also find the much hankered after gold, golden, chrome and chrome PJs, which normally arrive substantially behind the initial release of a new ship. As we've seen it asked in a number of places, let me just state here and now for anyone still waiting, the Cobra Mark V, which was released into early access before Christmas last year, hasn't yet left its early access period and is still therefore only available via an ARX purchase. FDEV haven't said yet when the Cobra will be made available for credits, but as soon as we hear anything we will of course let you know right here. As well as the installation into the game of the Gutamaya Corsair, the sizable patch on Tuesday also brought with it an ocean crossing sized raft of fixes and changes, the specific patch notes for which you can also find linked below. Of particular note, you can now maintain a full sprint without slowing down due to exhaustion whilst inside an orbital starport concourse or docking bay, negating the need to bivouac for an overnight stay halfway to the elevators when attempting to run the length of an Imperial cutter. And the now infamous Lantern Light orbital starport that became an overnight community celebrity following its completion around its parent rapidly rotating Stellan remnant has now been stabilised and will no longer induce vomiting or severe head trauma when attempting to enter or indeed exit the station. The starport bug became such a community headline in fact that together with the patch this week, Frontier released a commemorative bobblehead on the ARX store featuring a miniature fast spinning version of the formerly beleaguered starport. If you want to grab one for yourself, it'll set you back 8,400 ARX and is a time limited thing, only available until the 6th of May. And just before I leave the Corsair conversation for this week, in case you haven't seen it already, there is a new community goal this week focused on the Imperial system of Dahan. The community goal is asking for bounty vouchers to be gathered in the system's planetary rings, resource extraction sites for hand-in at Kid Station in the system. The community goal is running for 2 weeks and any contribution to it will earn the contributing pilot 2 free paint jobs, one each for the clipper and cutter, plus an engineered A-rated kill warrant scanner featuring fast scan and long range modifications. Unusually, the community goal mentions that Gutamaya's engineers are rumoured to be watching the performance of the Corsair specifically in the system throughout the duration of the CG, but take note, you don't have to use a Corsair to participate in the CG. Any former model of spaceborne justice-enabled violence dispenser will suffice just as well. Happy hunting. We'd previously reported on this broadcast that the hauling might of the Galaxy's premium starport repair service, Operation Ida, was available to help some commanders with establishing the sometimes tricky first build in a targeted colonisation system. To that fray of hauling madness and resultant commercial opportunity, there is now also another dedicated colonisation hauling service community that can be leveraged, if needed. Enter then the SCC, or System Colonisation Contractors, a newly established but rapidly expanding community Discord where commanders can post their colonisation hauling opportunities for haulers to participate in. Should you have need of their services, you'll find a link to the SCC website linked in the description below this video. And whilst we're talking all things colonisation, over the last week there's started to be a growing awareness in the community, particularly amongst those heavily embedded in colonisation efforts, that a dramatic change had apparently been implemented affecting how system asset economies are determined for the in-beta feature. When Trailblazers launched, it came pre-packaged with a large degree of confusion owing to a general lack of clear documentation about the feature, but it had eventually been established through no small amount of player experimentation and an eventual tweet or two from Frontier that the economy type of a starport was governed by the nature of the installations that were placed around the planet that it orbited. In very simple terms, a large amount of space farms will lean your starport towards an agrarian economy, a lot of research facilities will lead your starports toward high tech, etc. Having gotten a handle on this basic system, architects had then begun formatting their construction efforts accordingly to generate the kind of economy they were looking for in their chosen systems. The apparent unannounced change over the weekend appeared to radically change this system, instead tying an asset's economy type instead to the chemical and geological makeup of the planet that it orbited. Suffice to say, were this apparent unannounced change to have remained in place, it would have largely negated almost all the work that had been done to haul for and build tens of thousands of starports and assets right across populated Trailblazers space, wasting the time and effort of thousands upon thousands of players, turning that same populated space into an economically unintelligible wasteland of unconnected and meaningless starports and assets. You'll no doubt have noted at this point, dear viewer, that I've been careful to use the words apparent change throughout this piece so far. When the change to system economies became apparent and word started to spread into the community, Frontier's community manager Paul Crowther took to the forums on Monday afternoon this week to advise that the change was in fact an error and a completely unintentional move on FDEV's part, and that the change had been rolled back. Responding to a query noting that some systems had not yet reverted to their previous state following the rollback, Paul noted that, quote, some markets may take longer to be reverted, unquote, further adding, quote, we anticipate all of these should be complete in a maximum of 2 weeks, end quote. The too long didn't read of all this is that if you believed your systems to have been completely ruined by an unannounced back-end stealth change, that isn't in fact the case. It was an unintended bug, that bug has been squashed, but the fix may take a couple of weeks to work its way round the tens of thousands of so far colonised systems again so that they accurately reflect their surrounding assets and not the planet below. Are you hauling goods for the Shoulder of Orion project? Did you pick up the Gutamaya Corsair this week? If you did, what have you been using it for? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back later this week with more videos. Until then, 07 Commanders, follow the greens on the way out and do keep clear of the toast rack. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.